What's up guys, Josh from StrengthSide. This is a hamstring flexibility tutorial for all levels with stretches and movements. Most of you know that I used to be stiff as a brick. I could always touch my toes, but getting anything past that was out of the question. So these are some of the stretches and movements that I've used to unlock my mobility over the past few years. I'm still working on gaining more flexibility in my hamstrings, but I have gotten to the point where I can touch my forehead to my toe. The first half of the video is stretches, and you're gonna have to decide which level you're at and which stretches will fit you best. The second half of the video is all movement-oriented exercises. So these are extremely useful to use to help improve your hamstring flexibility, but to also maintain those stretched positions that you're gaining through doing the stretches. The reason I'm doing this video is because it was voted on by you guys in the last live stream that I did. If you want to be alerted of the live streams and everything else that I'm doing, follow StrengthSide on Instagram. It's at the StrengthSide. If you can't touch your toes, these 3 stretches at the basic level will be just right for you. This is going to be a good combination to start unlocking more range of motion in the hamstrings and also starting to develop the relationship between your lower back, your pelvis, and your hamstrings. Elevated hamstring hinge. This is my favorite stretch for beginners and people that are really stiff in their hamstrings. You elevate one foot onto a platform and keeping the knee all the way locked out, you're going to hinge your torso forward and you're going to make sure to keep extension in your lower back. As you can see, I keep my hand in my lower back to make sure that the lumbar portion of the spine is not flexing at all. As you progress doing this stretch, you can start to squeeze your quad and press the heel down into the platform. If you find yourself starting to fold in the spine, that means that you're going too deep too early. Correct yourself by using less range of motion and extending through the spine, keeping your chest up the whole way through. I recommend doing sets of 10 and pausing on the last rep from anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. The forward fold will stretch the hamstrings in a spine rounded position. So your hips can do both a hinge and they can do a fold like we see here, and both will put different demands on the hamstrings and lower back. From a standing position, tuck the chin and slowly round the spine down in front of the hips. Place your hands on the ground and go deeper if possible. Reverse the motion by pulling the spine upwards. Remember that this is different from a hip hinge and that the torso should move out in front of the hips. I recommend starting easy, and as you get deeper into the set, push yourself to deeper and deeper ranges of motion. Do anywhere from 5 to 10 repetitions and hold on the last rep for 10 seconds. The good morning is an excellent exercise to build strength in a hamstring flexed position. If you are using the good morning to build hamstring flexibility, place an emphasis on keeping the knee completely locked out. Remember that a slight bend in the knee is not locked out. Keeping your spine extended, shift your hips backward and lower your torso as low as you can go while maintaining the arch in your lower back. Shoot to get your torso to parallel and to feel your hamstrings being stretched on the way down and then being used on the way back up to extend the hips forward. Once you feel competent in the bodyweight good morning, you can easily add in a barbell on your back to add more load to this stretched position. This is a high bang for your buck exercise as you can stretch the hamstrings and strengthen the whole posterior chain at the same time. I recommend doing 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. And remember, if hamstring flexibility is your goal, then do not push the weight too fast. Make sure to keep good form throughout the whole movement. After you've put in some time with the basic level stretching, or if you're starting with decent hamstring flexibility already, the next stretches will be for you. Make sure to take them slowly and pay attention to the form. Kneeling hamstring hinge. Take a knee, extend one leg out in front of you. I like to place my hands right above the knee of the straight leg. Start to hinge your torso forward, keeping the spine extended. Think about bringing your chest to your knee while maintaining a good spine position. As you become more comfortable with this stretch, start to put more weight into the leg being stretched. This will demand more strength out of that stretched position. In the beginning stages, I like to put the emphasis on keeping the back arched. But once you become more comfortable, you can start to round the spine and see how close you can get your head to your shin. Do sets of 10 repetitions and hold the last rep from anywhere between 10 to 30 seconds. The Jefferson curl is a great loaded hamstring stretch. It'll be done just like the forward fold, only you'll stand on elevation and use a small weight to pull you into position. Make sure to start with a really small amount of weight, maybe 5 to 10 pounds. Starting at the top of the spine, slowly segment each vertebrae downwards, folding and compressing the spine. Do not let the hips shift backwards. Let the weight pull your spine forward and down. Then reverse the motion, unfolding the spine into the standing position with the hips staying in the same place. If done correctly, the Jefferson curl will not only just stretch the hamstrings, but also the whole backside, including the lats and traps. This can be very helpful for those of us that spend too much time in extension of the spine. Jefferson curls can become quite tiring because the motion is slow, but I do recommend doing sets of 8 to 10 reps, and if it feels okay, hold in the last rep for 10 seconds. The single leg good morning adds more intensity to our hamstring hinge movement. Keep the working leg straight and place the other foot behind for support. Hinge the hips backward, keep the spine extended, and move the torso down as low as you can go while keeping the back arched. This exercise can be much more challenging than it looks. I find it very beneficial to pause on your last rep and hold from anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds. Just like the double leg good morning, the single leg good morning can be loaded by placing a barbell on the back. Make sure to really control this movement and to not push the weight too fast. I myself never do this with anything more than just the barbell. Okay guys, those are the stretches. I recommend picking 2 to 3 of those depending on your own level and working on them for at least 2 months. It takes some time to see change in the hamstrings. They're stubborn, they're gonna wanna stay stiff. You just gotta keep at it, and I guarantee that if you keep at it, you will see some improvements there. One of the ways to see those improvements faster is to make sure that you're doing movements that are gonna promote maintaining the flexibility that you're gaining. So do not skip this next section. Let's get to the movements. Think of these next 4 movements as movements to explore. Don't worry about sets and reps. You can put these after your mobility session or on a totally separate day just to play with. The bear walk takes our A-frame downward dog position and we move in a contralateral crawling fashion forward. So you're gonna move your arm and the opposite leg at the same time, and your mission is to keep your knees straight and locked out and keep your heels as close to the ground as possible. Try to push your chest backwards towards your knees, and you can play with this forward and back. The Cossack squat can be great for hamstring flexibility, especially if you lift the toe of the straight leg. You can also rotate your body a bit towards your straight leg, and that will further stretch the hamstrings. What I recommend is trying to keep your knee locked out for as long as possible. So even when you're pressing yourself up out of the squat, see how long you can keep that knee straight. That's going to force the hamstring to have to work while it's being stretched. The elephant walk is essentially like the forward fold moving forward. So with each step, straighten the front knee and try to bring the hands and the chest down as low to the ground as possible. You're moving your chest back towards that straightened knee. This can be a great way to warm up your hamstrings for more stretching or to cool down with. I call this exercise the down dog floss. It may have another name in yoga circles, but essentially you start in your downward dog position, straighten one knee and bend the other knee. This allows you to get very deep into the straightened knee. You should press your heel down firmly to the ground, and you should press the chest back towards the knees. This is going to allow you to open up the calf and the hamstring at the same time, and you can slowly move the hands back towards the feet to make this more intense as you become more flexible. Guys, let me know where you're at with your hamstring flexibility. I want to know which stretches and movements you're excited to spend some time with. Remember that using the movements with the stretches is going to make improvements much, much faster. If you found this video useful, you know I always appreciate a thumbs up. Subscribe to Strength Side to keep unlocking your body. And as always,